Welcome to the Blue Room. My name is Parc, and this is a show for Chelsea fans presented to you by a Chelsea fan. So today we're going to be looking at some of the solutions that we might need to take if we really want to do better next season, and we're going to have some of the positives that we're going to take out of this roller coaster run that we're having right now. And I think the biggest topic right now will be, is Chelsea going to finish in the top 4 spots for next year's Champions League? I think that is going to be the tough one because we are looking at the guys that we are fighting around that position. But before we go any further, remember that football promised us that everything is going to be fine, but you know when you're starting something new, it's going to take time. Football, talk to me.
But obviously our commitment is to win, right? We're here to win. I think, our perspective is, how do we build something that has real staying power like we've done with the Dodgers? And putting together, that team that, is very fluid and comes together, I think that's the first step. I think putting together any team, whenever I put together any team, right, it just takes time.
And when they're coming into Chelsea, they did a lot of things off the field, which gave us the hope that they were going to actually do something that will translate into the field. And I think the strategy was simple for them. Sign the young guys, get the young manager that they will grow together, and then probably in future they will be the world beaters. And that's what we believe because we've seen the talent in some of the guys that we signed at Chelsea. So I think there is something that we're working on. But is it going to work? I think we don't know at the moment. But now, let's talk about the crucial topic right now. If you're supporting Chelsea, that was the biggest question right now is, are we going to finish in the top 4 spots? Because I don't want to lean too much on the 5th spots because we don't know what's going to happen with the 5th spots in the EPL. And I think based on the results of the first leg in the last 16, all the English team were struggling to get a win. So I think that might actually affect that possibilities of that spot. So I think that we need to fight even more harder, not to get the 5th spot, but to get the top 4 spot. So I think when you're looking at the Champions League, you're looking at the teams like Liverpool, Aston Villa, and Manchester United are the teams that we're going to fight around that position because all of them are in that bracket. But if we don't really putting up points, I think we'll invite a lot of teams like Everton, teams like Brentford as well. I think they will come into the party trying to see. And even Newcastle is not that far now to actually try to see if they can have a say on that top 4 spots in the Premier League. So I think it's one of the things that we're going to be looking at some of the fixtures. We are left with 8 games. And I think you're looking at the 8 games. The good thing about that is we still have to play Manchester United, which if we take points against them, take points from them, actually, we are actually going to have an advantage here. And also we have to go to Anfield as well to play Liverpool. So if we can able to take those points as well, I think it will help us to actually climb a little bit higher on the top 4 spots, and then I think opening up our chances for qualification next year. So I think it's one of those things that I think it will happen on the last day, or it might not happen. But if you're asking me as a Chelsea fan, I'm telling you that I want this season to end. I feel like the season is over, and the season is over because I'm looking at the way we play. The way we play, we're playing so nice, but looking at how we are finishing, how we are actually trying to break down defense, it's still a problem for me. So I don't think we are actually going to do anything that is dangerous right now. I think in the last 8 games, if we manage to do something to put us in the top 4 spots, I will be happy. But if it doesn't happen, then we fall into the Europa League. I think I will take that because I don't think there's any miracle that will happen with the games that are left right now. So it's one of those things where, as a Chelsea fan, you need to accept some of the things. Do I have a hope that we might go all the way in the FA Cup? I think that's the champion. That's actually the cup that I feel like we can actually go far and do something because we are playing Port Vale. So going to the semi-final, we can't get anything. I think semi-final closer to the final, we might pull something out of that and then just go to the final. In the final, we'll never know what is happening. Even though we don't have a good record recently when we go to the final of the FA Cup, especially when we're going against the teams that's on paper, they are supposed to be easy teams for us. So I think it's one of those things. So I think when we're looking at that, we're looking at the recent results. I think the recent results at Chelsea are the ones that are bringing up a lot of questions when you're talking about the top 4, how we're going to finish, and what exactly now is expected from the team before the season end. And I think those are the recent results. It's a 5-2 score from the Champions League and the 1-0 against Newcastle. So when I want to talk about the Champions League game, I want to talk about the fact that in that game, we played very well. I think maybe late in the second half where we lost the direction of everything. And I think when Liam Rosenior tell us about this.
A very disappointing result, and in an evening where for much of the game, I was really, really happy with our performance. The last 15, 20 minutes are crazy in many aspects, and that's on me. We need to be better in moments. Setbacks, mistakes happen, but you have to stay calm in a moment, me included, and we didn't, and we were punished by a very good team, which...
He was actually blaming himself for everything that happened in that game, which is the right thing to do, because before he even said that, when I was watching the game, I blame him. I say that loss was on him because I thought he'd done like a lot of work at Chelsea to actually glue the guy together in terms of pressing and understanding how to play the ball going forward, because since he arrived at Chelsea, we are actually nice looking football now that we are playing, and then you kind of enjoy some of the movement that we do, even though we are not a team that have a killer instinct when they come in front of the post. So I think maybe in terms of movement wise, the pressing very high, I think that's some of the things. But in that game specifically, the way he was able to build up from the back and able to give Jorgensen that free will to able to do that. And I think it reminds me of the time where Enzo Maresca said to Robert Sanchez, if you don't play it from the back, you kick it, I will take you out of the game. And I think it was one of those stupid things to say as a manager, especially if you are coaching Chelsea. I don't think there should be any delusional things that you have in your mind, because if you're going to be deluded about the situation, you're going to make crazy mistakes. You need to accept that those keepers that you have right now are not the kind of keepers that will give you what you want in terms of playing the ball from the back. They are not good like that. And I don't think also the quality of centre back and the back line that we have is really good enough. All of it, the four of it, is those few players in there that are actually comfortable moving the ball from the back. So I think it's one of those things that Liam Rosenior needs to apply to his mind before he making some of the decision. So I think it was good for him to actually admit that that loss was on him, because I believe that he was meant to play him after that loss, because I don't think we were out of the game. I think when we consider the third goal, is the third goal that actually take out everything that was structured around the team, because they lost concentration after that. They didn't even know. At some point in that game, before even the fifth goal, you will see Chelsea players, the way that they were playing, that they didn't want to be on the field in that specific time. They just wanted this thing to be over and done with, and then going back to England. So I think maybe Liam Rosenior, it was one of those learning curves that he needs to learn from and then try to do something better going forward. Is there anything that we can save on that tie? I don't think so. I think 3 goals deep is just another mess. Playing at home or playing away, it doesn't matter. And I don't think we are at that level, even though I don't believe that the PSG is that kind of team that can give us trouble like that. I feel like we are on par performance. But I think when you coming back from 3-0, it's going to be hard. We'll see what will happen. But I don't have high hopes on that one. Even if they crash us again, I think I won't even get mad to that, because I know that it's going to happen. So let's talk about the positives. When we're talking about the positive, we're talking about some of the things that he was actually talking about in terms of the team pressing high in different teams, understanding what is happening, and then also the way that we've been playing football since he arrived. It's kind of a nice football that we are playing. So it's one of the things that I think we need to work on. I think the way we are pressing very high, we need players that can actually keep up with that. And I think as much as sometimes I don't like Pedro because he sometimes do some dumb decisions, but I think in a game like yesterday, and when he is not around in that Chelsea squad, we kind of miss him, because he's the only guy that actually caused that constant movement and constant penetration to the defense and the opposition to make sure that he creates a lot of chances. So I think having him off that match because of the red card, that was controversial. I think, yeah, it's a bad thing. And then Liam Rosenior talking about the referees, that the referees sometimes they're not doing their job. Referees are just doing what they think is right. And I think when he was talking about that, he was talking about the decision that they've been going against Chelsea. But he was mentioning more what was happening in the game against Newcastle, where Voltemara clipped Cole Palmer in the box and it was not even a penalty. It was a kick review and it was done. I I think before even Liam said this thing, I think I've been complaining to myself and maybe to other people that I've been communicating with, maybe talk about soccer, that I don't think now the referees in the Premier League are looking at all the challenges, especially when it comes to Chelsea's Calcedo. I think the tackle that he got a yellow card for in the game against Newcastle, I don't think it's a tackle that deserves a yellow card. How are you going to tackle for the ball if you're coming on the side, if you're not going to do the type of challenge? And I think it's been getting a lot of those calls. There's a game against Bournemouth as well where they kicked him and then the player goes down and then they gave him a yellow card. And it's one of those things where I feel like now it's more of a profile judgment when it comes to him. It doesn't even matter if it's a really foul that deserves a card. It's because now they know that he's a rough guy, so every time when he do something, they're going to charge him. And I think about that when it comes to the card. I think Chelsea need to learn one thing, the discipline. I think the discipline is just going outside the window. And I think as much as Liam said he's going to talk to Pedro about some of the things, I think it's the right thing to do, because I think at some point they undermining Chelsea. And you look at the fact that the more of the undermining and scrutiny and some of the microscope that are going straight into Chelsea, it's coming out from the Blue Corps when they were spending a lot of cash buying all these players. The hate's coming out from the media as well. People were saying they're spending a lot of money but they are not winning, which is true because we haven't won a lot of things according to them. But I think we are the world champions. That, like, it doesn't matter if they like the World Cup or they don't, but we are world champions. So I think it's one of the good things. So I think going forward, we're going to apply the way we are pressing very high. The movement of the ball is clinical, but I think we need to find the solutions. And which is bring me to the part of the video where we talk about solution out of this roller coaster form that we have in this season. And I think when it comes to solution at Chelsea, we need to bring our problems back. The problems need to come back to us, and then we'll be able to get the solution. And I'm talking about Nicholas Jackson. I think the way we are playing, we are just lacking Nicholas Jackson. I think Nicholas Jackson is the only key guy that will unlock Cole Palmer. And I'm not saying that when Nicholas Jackson come back, you need to plug him and put Joao Pedro out. No, Nicholas Jackson, put him on the left wing and put Pedro on the right wing. Put Cole on the 10th position, Joao Pedro in the 9. And then let me tell you something. The person that will be dealing with Jackson on the left and right back will be needing more help from the centre back, because Jackson is a handful of a player. I know he's getting a lot of cards as well, which won't solve the problem of Chelsea. But I think when he comes back, just loan out the Magpies, the kid, and then just have 3 strikers. He can play as a striker, but play him as a left wing, because I think he will give out more in terms of moving the defense back and giving that space to Cole Palmer. Because if you remember, when they were playing with Cole Palmer, it was one of those things where he will just open up space for Cole Palmer, and then Cole Palmer will move into the space. So I think if Jackson is coming back for next season, Cole will come back as well. And I think Pendes will come back as the starting keeper, because I think maybe Liam Rosenior will be like, okay, I'm not finding exactly what I need in those 2 keepers, which is Jorgensen and Robert Sanchez. So I think Mike Pendes will come back from Stockport and then will be the number 1 keeper, because he's super talented and is also the future. So I think we'll be thrown into the deep end. He needs to make sure that he performs. But when the instruction that will say to him, don't kick the ball and don't kick the ball up front no matter what, I think it will be a disaster for him as well. That will bring lots of scrutiny to him as well in his game as well. So I think Liam Rosenior needs to find a way also to manage these young players, because if you do those kind of pressure to the keeper and say they mustn't kick the ball up front, you are actually making a lot of mistakes. Like he admitted that we made a lot of mistakes against that game in PSG, and I think we've been making some of them against the match with Newcastle as well. So I think this week we've been talking about that, and I think if you have anything you want to add in what we are talking about here on the Blue Room, make sure that you comment below and tell me, do you think those positives I'm talking about are the positive that's going to help us next season? Do you think this season is over? Or you think we have something that we can use to fight and get the top 4 position, or maybe win the FA Cup? So if you haven't subscribed into the channel, please subscribe. If you haven't liked, make sure that you like, comment and share. And I will see you next week Monday when we are talking about the Chelsea news here on the Blue Room.